Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute pom-pom cowl. You can make it in about 2 hours and it's really fun. This is great for beginner crocheters. I'm going to show you how to chain stitch. I'm going to show you how to crochet in the round. I'm going to show you how to double crochet. So those are the only skills you're going to need, but I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to be using a number 15 hook and some super bulky yarn. This is Boutique Chic from Red Heart, but any thick chenille yarn will give you a very similar look, or you can use several strands of yarn held together. So without further ado, let's go to the table and let's start making this cute pom-pom cowl. Okay, to make this cowl, it's super easy. You're going to need a thick and bulky yarn, or you're going to need a couple strands of like a worsted weight held together. The yarn that I'm using is Boutique Chic, and I got a bunch of it because a neighbor of mine was at a sale where it was fill a bag for $1, and she filled 2 bags full of yarn for me. And so I wanted to come up with a pattern that I could do with this that would be quick and easy to work up, and that would also look really fun, and that would show off the unique characteristics of this yarn, which is this pom-pom detail that you see here. So when the yarn comes like this, you can't knit form it quite yet. This is called a hank, and what you need to do is either get a friend or a chair with a nice kind of like what do you call posts on it, so that you can drape it over that and wind this into a ball. And what you do is you end up snipping these strings, and you keep it in the loop. Make sure you don't get that tangled up. Lay it over your chair, and then you can wind up a ball like this from that. And it's important that you don't do a center pull ball when you're dealing with something like this, because it will pull, it will catch when you're trying to pull out of the center. So you want a regular, just a regular ball of yarn that pulls from the outside like this one does. I'm going to be using this yarn. I think it'll be easier for you to see than using the bright white or using a red, but I wanted to show you a couple different examples here. Now this was the first one I did, and I knit it flat and then I seamed it up at the end, and I thought my seam looked kind of sloppy, so this is the one I kept. This isn't the one I showed you that I was wearing at the beginning of the video, and I thought the seam looked a little messy, so I decided that I would knit, crochet this in the round, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. But you can absolutely do it flat and then seam it up if you're more comfortable doing it that way. Totally up to you. And then I tried some with just a solid color, and I really like the way that looked with a solid color, so that's what we're going to do today. I also tried knitting this yarn rather than crocheting it, and the thing to know about knitting is that you don't use as much yarn when you're knitting, so if you wanted a longer scarf, knitting would give you a longer scarf. So I just wanted to, you know, give you the option to, if you prefer to knit than to crochet. I've just been experimenting with this yarn to see what I could do. I do believe it's a discontinued yarn, so you may be able to find it for a bargain, just to let you know that as well. Sometimes the discount yarn stores online, like Smiley's Yarns and other, you know, discount yarn places, will have that. You're also going to need a measuring tool. You're going to need a number 15 crochet hook, that's 10 millimeters, and a yarn needle. And pretty much, oh, the other thing I want to tell you, if you're doing a different yarn, I'm using a number 6. This is also hand wash only, so if you are going to make something as a gift, make sure you tell the recipient how to care for the garment. And if you want to use worsted weight, like I said before, you can use a 15-inch needle, 10 millimeter size N15 crochet hook. Just use 2 strands, okay? Or you can mix up what you have. I love to just see what I get with what I have. We're going to start by making a slip knot. Okay, so I just kind of twist it and pull up to make my slip knot. You can make a slip knot however you like, and put that on your hook. And then we're going to chain for 24 inches, okay? You don't want to do this too tight. Whoops, I'm working on the wrong end. Oh, okay, there's, don't chain the tail end, chain the working end. Oh my goodness. So what we're going to do here is chain 2 feet worth of crochet here, and this is a chenille. Chenille does not have very much stretch to it, so if you're using like the like there's a Lion brand thick and quick chenille, that would work great. It just wouldn't have the pom-poms on it. It just doesn't stretch, so just be aware of that. So keep on chaining until you have about 24 inches of rope here. Oh, to chain, if you haven't chained before, what you do is you've got, you know, your slip stitch on, you wrap your yarn around your hook, and then you pull that loop through the other loop. Okay, you can do that all with one motion with your hook. I have seen, like, sometimes when I've taught children, what they've done is they've actually used their finger to lift the other loop over. You can do that. I find it so much quicker, and you get such an even stitch when you do it this way. This yarn does have pom-poms, so, you know, when you come to a pom-pom, just keep on going. and I'll show you what to do when you have it in your work itself. All right. Well, I can chain pretty quickly, so I guess we can leave this rolling while I'm doing that. Take your time though, if you've never done this before. This is a beginner tutorial, but you know, it takes practice. You know, your first one will look a little funky probably, and then you'll get the hang of it. So let's see what we have now. A cowl, a single loop cowl does not have to be very long, so we need about another 6 inches here. In fact, it's, you know, you don't want it too drapey because you want to go around your neck and keep you warm. Okay, let's just see how long that is. We have got almost a few more stitches probably. So this is using a 15 hook really makes this project go quickly. I can probably crochet this in about an hour or less. Let's just see if I've got 24 inches or so. Yes, there we go, perfect. Actually, maybe even be a little long, but that's all right. You don't want it too long though. All right, so what you want to do now is, since I know this is a little on the long side, what I'm going to do is actually wrap my hook and I'm going to insert it in the 3rd stitch from the hook. Oh, actually, you know what I have to do first? I have to connect this. We need to make, if you're gonna do it flat, you could do it just as I told you, but since we're going to work in the round, we're gonna actually put our hook through the 1st stitch that we made, and we are going to pull, we're gonna wrap our yarn around our hook and we're going to pull it through that, and that's going to join it. So now we have a big loop that we're going to work from. Okay, so then what you want to do to start your first round is chain 3, because we're going to do double crochet. So we need to chain 1, 2, 3, and that's going to make our first stitch of our first row, and we have to chain 3 because we need to make up that height for our double crochet. So to make a double crochet, what you do is you have your loop on your hook already. You're going to wrap it around. You're going to put your hook in the next stitch. And this is our foundation row, so I just kind of put it in wherever it'll go, you know, easily. And then I'm going to pull up 1 stitch. So now I've got 3 loops on my hook. And then I'm going to pull a loop through 2. Okay, now there's 2 loops on my hook. Then I'm going to wrap it and pull it through the remaining 2. Okay, so now we have 2 stitches. And don't worry if you have any big holes at this stage in the game, it's all going to work out, okay? So we're going to wrap it, we're going to through the next stitch, I want to pull up 1, I'm going to wrap it, go through 2, wrap it, go through the final 2. And then we got 3 stitches. Now look how tall that row is going to be, so you can see this is going to crochet up in no time. Alright, so we're going to keep doing that all along this row. So we're going to wrap it, we're going to go in the next stitch, we're going to pull 1 up, we're going to wrap it, we're going to go through 2, we're going to wrap it, we're going to go through the final 2, okay? We're going to keep doing that all the way down until we get to the beginning, to the end of the first row when we meet back up with this again. If I come across a pom-pom before I'm at the end of this row, I will turn the camera back on and I will show you what to do when you come to a pom-pom. It's pretty easy. Since we're doing a double crochet, we're going to end up with big spaces between each stitch, so that'll give us room to pop those pom-poms through. That's why I'm using a double crochet for this. If you are, some countries, the double crochet is called a treble crochet. So if you're in the UK, this is called a treble crochet. I don't want you to get confused. I believe a half double, our half double is what you call a double. So just, I don't know why it's not standard, but there you have it. Anyway, so you just keep on doing double crochets into every stitch until you get to the end of this row. Okay, we've got a pom-pom coming on down the line, so we are going to, I'm going to show you what to do there. So you're going to wrap, you're going to do your regular double crochet. Okay, so when you come to the pom-pom, just pretend it's not there. Alright, so I wrapped, I'm pulling through 2, I'm pulling through the last 2. So the pom-pom is ending up on the wrong side of the work, but that's no big deal, because see, we're going to look, see that little hole from the between the 2 stitches? We're just going to pop that right through, and now our pom-pom is on the right side of the work, the side we want it to be on, so that we can see it. And then we're going to continue on, we're wrapping, we're going in the next stitch, and we're just going to carry on. You do that anytime you have a pom-pom, and that's how you get all your pom-poms on the same side. That way you don't have to worry about trying to hold it to the front when you're working. That's why this works so good with crochet, and especially double crochet, because you end up with those big gaps that you can push the pom-poms through. With knitting, you kind of got to take it where it comes, and then you end up with some pom-poms on one side and some on the other. With a scarf, it's not that big of a deal because you know, you see both sides of the scarf a lot of the times when you're working, but like if you're doing a hat or something, or a cowl where you're not going to see both sides, you want to kind of push those pom-poms. So I would recommend crochet with this type of yarn if you're not going to do a scarf. I think that's why there's a scarf pattern on that yarn on the wrapper, and I really couldn't find much. I couldn't find anything on the website for patterns for that yarn, so I had to make up my own. I hope you guys are finding this enjoyable. So we're almost to the end of this row. We're double crocheting as we go. I'm keeping an even but fairly loose tension because it's a chenille yarn and it has that non-stretchability to it. But if you're using worsted or whatever, then you probably don't have to go quite as loose. And don't worry if your foundation row is twisting. It's not that big of a deal as it is with like knitting, because we're just kind of putting that putting the hook in wherever we can fit it. There we get another pom-pom there. Not a big deal though, because we're going to pop that right through to the front. We're going to push it through the gap between the two stitches. There we go. We got it in the front again. So the thing I like about crochet is that it's very forgiving. You can kind of make it up as you go. You can be very freeform. It's easy to design with. So if you're that type of mentality, you may find crochet to be more your style than knitting. I enjoy knitting, but I have to say that, you know, if I want to be true to my style, true to myself, that crochet is definitely a better fit for my personality. And there's so many great channels out there. Hectanuga One, my friend Emmy has a wonderful crochet channel. There's also the Crochet Crowd, which is a great crochet channel. That is actually I think it's the official Red Heart crochet channel. So there's lots of really great places for you to get ideas, and places that will give you much more accurate information than I do. But you know, I do it for fun, and it may not be as conventional, but hey, we're having fun. All right, so I can feel that I've got a little bit of twisting happening here, so I just want to be aware of that as I go on getting ready to connect my stitches. We're almost to the end. The foundation, once we get to that first row done, then we become a lot more exact of where we put our hook. This first foundation row is just kind of, for me anyway, wherever I can get it to go. Probably should be doing a tutorial on this. Okay, so now I want to make sure that I've got that nice and flat, that I don't have any twist in this first band. Okay, that's flat. So now what I want to do is I want to put my hook, I'm not wrapping, so I want to join this, the row, I'm going to join this round rather. I'm going to put my hook through the top part of this first stitch. So I want to go under the two legs of that first stitch. Okay, so I got one bit of yarn under my hook and two bits of yarn over my hook, and I'm just going to pull a stitch through. So I'm slip stitching to join that round. Alright, so now we're going to start our next row. Now you can turn this. I'm just going to keep on going in a circle. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, because this gives us the height of that next row. Okay, now I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to go into the next stitch. I'm going to go, see, so our stitch, we have two, it's kind of hard to see with this, but you kind of get these two V's on top, 2 stitches, and you got a stitch underneath. So I'm going under the 2 stitches on the top, but above that 1 stitch on the bottom, pulling up a loop. Then I'm going through 2, wrapping, going through 2, just like I did before. And do the same thing. We're going to look for a next stitch. We're going to go under the top 2 and over that bottom one, because each stitch has 3 strands. It oftentimes will look like a row of V's. Let's see if we can see that kind of. I don't know if you can really see with that, but it's kind of like a row of V's there. So I'm going under that top V, and there's like another little piece underneath. And with this yarn, it's pretty easy to see the hole where you're supposed to put your hook. Okay, once you get past that foundation chain, it's really important that you put your hook in the right spot. Okay, it's probably really important in the foundation chain too. Well, I'm sure there's a correct way to do it in the foundation chain. I just kind of fly. I don't really think you really notice it, especially with this yarn. All right, we're coming up to another pom-pom, so I'm going to show you again what we do with the pom-pom. So that pom-pom's right there. We're going to go into our next stitch. We're going to pull up a loop, and I'm going to go through two, and then I'm going to take that pom-pom that's on the wrong side, I'm going to just push it through between those two stitches that we just made. Okay, because we have those nice big gaps. So just continue on. You're going to keep going until you're just about out of yarn. It'll be between 5 and 6 rows probably, and then I'll show you what to do when we get to the end. So keep on double crocheting, join your row just like you did before, chain 3 and start another row. You're gonna go until you're almost out of yarn. That's 5 or 6 rows. If you get confused, just rewind it to where I added this, where I joined and added the next row, and you know, it's a beauty of YouTube. You can keep rewinding if you need to. So we'll see you back when we are ready to finish it up. Okay, here we are. We have got 6 rows done here. I don't know if you can really tell with this this type of yarn, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we've got 1 stitch left to do on this last row, and then we're gonna finish it up. So we're gonna do that last double crochet right in this last stitch right here. I love double crochet. It's such a quick way to work things up. Works perfectly with this pom-pom yarn. Okay, and then we are going to join this round just like we did on all the other rounds. We are going to put our hook through the under the top 2 stitches here, top stitch in this first double crochet. Yeah, it's hard to see. Oops, I'm only under one leg of the stitch. There we go. So we got 1 stitch underneath, 2 stitches above, just like we do for every, you know, everything there except for the foundation chain. And then I'm just going to pull a strip through, pull a loop through, and I'm going to snip my yarn, leaving about a 6-inch tail for us to weave in. I'm going to pull through this, so now we have that loop on our hook. I'm going to pull the tail through, and that is going to fasten it off. And then what you want to do is you want to turn it inside out. Oops, so we have one pom-pom that didn't make it through. We're going to push that pom-pom through. So if you missed it, whenever we have a pom-pom on the wrong side, we just push it through to the right side. And then you're going to need a yarn needle to sew in, to weave in your ends. And also, if like this is what I have left, I got a pom-pom left. If I saw a spot that didn't have enough pommage, I would just like clip that off and tie it on. In fact, I could show you how I do that in just a second. That way you'll have, you'll know what I mean. You know what I mean, Vern? And to weave in the ends, basically it's never a good idea to cut your yarn really short because that knot could come undone. So what I do is I just try to find a row of stitches and just kind of try to hide it. Whoops, that thing pulled out. And if I have anything weird, like any weird gaps, or I feel like I have something coming apart, then I can kind of fix it up a little bit. And I like to go back over it the opposite direction because the chances of it pulling out if you go one way than the other is very, so I came down that way, so if I go back up this way, chances are that is not going to pull through. And if some does pull out, it's not going to make anything come undone. Okay, so you do that to any of your ends, you just weave them in, and then you can snip it short. Alright, so let's say let's just pretend that's woven in. I'm not going to bother with that right now. But let's look around, and we might find an area that really doesn't have very much for pom-poms, like this right here. So with this leftover, what I'm going to do, because that much yarn really isn't that helpful for much, it's just going to go in my scrap yarn, kids, you know, craft supplies. I'm going to trim off about a foot, so I've got about 6 inches on each side. Okay, so this is the right side. I'm going to figure out where I want to put this. Right here looks good, and I am going to take the ends and just stick them in one of the holes here on either side of a stitch. And then, so that's what it looks like on the right side. We've got a pom-pom in there, so it evens things out a little bit better. Because it's very random in how these pom-poms come out. They might come out right next to each other. There doesn't seem to be much rhyme or reason how they're dispersed. Okay, so I'm going to tie that in, and again, then you take your yarn needle and you just weave your ends in just like you would if you're working in the tails of a project. So that's what I came up with to do with this Boutique Chic yarn. This is by Red Heart. You may be able to find it for a song just because it's being discontinued. I think that's what I saw on their website. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. Or any sort of novelty yarn like this, or use what you have and just double it up if you need it to get thick enough. And that is how you do that. And let me know if you want to see some cute little, I'm gonna make some cute little gift tags to go with these. Let me know if you're interested, and I will shoot a video on that as well. I hope you like this. If you have any friends that have a lot of bulky yarn to use up, please let them know about this video. This is really fun and it looks really cute on, and I do hope you try it because it's a really quick and easy project. And if it keeps me out of the potato chips at night when I'm watching TV, then it's a very good thing. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Until next time, happy crafting.